Okay, so we are on Chavav Amid Beis. We just established that there's machlokus about the use of that house. Can anybody use that house of the person who forgot to make the Eruvin, therefore needs to mevatel his rishus? Or we know that everyone agrees that the person himself can't use it to carry to and from, but can the other people use it? And the answer is it's a machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbanon, and it's based on the concept of whether or not a person is mevatel his house as well, or is he only mevatel his chutzner. So let's just read out what Kishatim Salim one more time, which is the top line on the page. We did this, but it flows better. Kishatim Salim al Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Okay, when you analyze words of Rabbi Eliezer, mevatel rishus chatzeiroi, rishus beisoi bitel. When you vater your shus to your buddies in the chutzner who need to be able to carry, and you're the impediment, so you vater your chutzner to avoid that impediment. You're also vater rishus beiso, which gives the leeway of the other people to be able to carry to and from your house. Rabbanon vater rishus chatzer rishus beiso loy bitel, which is pshita, but that's obvious that's machlokes. So you have access to the house. You not have access to the house. So Amruchava Anov Rav Huna Bar Chimna Tirgama we explain as follows: It's needed for a case of 5 guys, and I don't know why Dafki picks the number 5, but whatever. 5 guys who are dwelling in one chutzner. So this one Yaakov forgot to join in. So now You've got, he's got to rectify the situation. So it's not about the house anymore. Now they're adding that there's a new dimension to what that Rav Sheshes is kishatim tzaleimar. What he means to say is that when you analyze the situation, you'll find that according to Rabbi Eliezer, when you vatel your rishus, it's good enough just to make a blanket statement, and then you don't have to identify each person saying avatel to you and to you and to you. It's one big happy family, and one statement really covers everything, and that's part of the overall, more generous approach that Rabbi Eliezer takes in terms of his mindset. This guy's not looking to be difficult; he's looking to be as accommodating as possible. While Rabbanon k'shumavatel rishuso, when he does vatel his rishus, his chutzner to the others, tzarich levatel l'chol echad v'echad. Okay, you have to do it to each and every one. Okay, so I think we did not do this big Rashi. I think that's where we left off. Okay, so lo nitzruch el chamisha shurim b'chutzner echad. So it's needed for this case. The Hashbina Rav Sheshes. We didn't do that either. Amru Chavanov Rav Huna Bar Chimna Targima Lahak Shetzim Tzloimad Rav Sheshes L'may Yitzrach. This statement that Rav Sheshes made, that if you really analyze it, you will find, we explained it as follows, because clearly there's got to be something novel. When you use that expression Shetzim Tzloimad, it means when you really look into it, you will discover this. Well, the thing that you said seemed to be pretty obvious. So they explained, no, it was not as obvious as you would think. There was something deeper involved, and this is what the other deeper dimension that was really what Rav Sheshes was talking about. And that is, Rav Sheshes losum leiv. So Rav Sheshes is saying to, place your heart to the issue, analyze the issue carefully. Lahavin tam machlekusan. To understand the underpinnings of their machlok is what exactly they're arguing about, and to learn from that analysis another halacha that would come out of that. The Rebbe Eliezer mevatel ba'in yafa vatel. According to Rebbe Eliezer, when you vatel, you do it generously. We don't say that he only was vatal's chutzner. That's the only thing really necessary in this situation to keep these guys happy, to be able to carry from their home to the chutzner. So that which he was vatal is vatal. That which he's not, he isn't. And And therefore, as a result of not saying that, of saying that he's more generous about his approach, and therefore he nullifies the house as well, which is what Rabbi Elazar holds. And learn from there that if he says I'm vatal to Yankel, he really means Yankel, Beryl, Shmerel, and Ruvain. We don't say that same type of mentality that he's very specific and limiting about his statements and about his thoughts. No, he wants to be as accommodating as possible. However, just like they hold when it comes to the house, you didn't speak about the house, therefore the house is not included in your bittul. Same thing over here. To who I didn't explain and to who I didn't articulate my bittul, it's to him it's not batal, and he would actually be left out in the cold, not be able to carry. And he wouldn't, and they all wouldn't. Because let's say out of the four guys, you said two, so those two can make a nice erev with each other, but big deal. Cholko lo irev. Even though they did have intention to merge yesterday before Shabbos, yes, they didn't intend to have this division set up. That he shaita lavdi dehu. That he shaita lavdi day, who at that point it wasn't his. With the Kavasot Tanya Bahadar, let's see a similar type of situation we learned later on in Eruvin. Echad min hashuk shameis. Okay, if somebody dies from the marketplace, vayilo bayis b'chatzer, and he had a house in a chatzer, v'niach rishus le'echad bnei chatzer mibo jom, and he left the rishus to one of the people from before Shabbos. The Hainu Kedim She'irvu. Okay, that's before the Erev was started. The Chiyuv Adaita Hi Chulka Nami Erev. Because I guess when they made the Erev, I guess that portion as well. I guess that's what, I'm not sure what this word Chulka means here. It sounds like that portion. So Eino Osa Mishoshecha. 1 second. The Chiyuv Adaita Hi Chulka Nami Erev. So Eino Osa Mishoshecha. I'm sorry, in Oser, comma. Okay, so since when you made the Erev, you had the intention of that portion of property as well then it's all good. He says, and therefore it does not answer. However, Mishach Shecha, if he died after it got dark, and therefore he never gave the property before Shabbos came, I raise the Oser. So in other words, I guess you have to have the das of the way the property, because this guy, so getting back to our case, just like in that case, if the guy didn't give his property over before he passed away, well then you never had das for that particular portion. So here too, and that's a problem. Here too, if he only gave this guy when he was Avatal's Rishus, if he only was Avatal to the two of the guys and didn't mention the other two guys, so they did not make the Erev with that thought process. So, and I mean, to me, it's more pasha. Why? The Avagav the Haida Bottle le Erev im Chaveiro Kiyev me'esmal adaita da he chukul lo Erev. He shaita lavdi dehu. It wasn't given to him. So I guess, in other words, we only can make an Erev on those areas that belong to us. I don't know why the others wouldn't just block him anyway, because they don't. Teretz is. In other words, we're getting it too late. In other words, there's a piece of property. I guess there's 1/5 of the chutzner. 1/5 of the chutzner does not belong to us yet. Okay, so. Okay, I guess we could maybe see this more later on, but somehow And it seems more part. No, he's making a lumdus out of it. I'm not sure. Again, if we get the property of vatal to all of us, so then it's poshut that it's all nichal into yimvatal the chutzner. We made an erev, so it's all good. But somehow, if yimvatal, it only needs the two of the guys. So somehow, when we made the erev yesterday, we didn't intend. We didn't know about it. So why, when you're vatal to all of them, is it good? What's the difference if you're vatal to all of them? It's the two of them. I'm not really sure the lumdus here. But when I'm vatal to all of the guys, and it does work. Yes, I don't know. There's some kind of lumdus here that if it's not to all of the guys, so two don't get, and then somehow that blocks the Eruv from working. But I don't really see the lumdus here right now. I just thought the lumdus would be that if some guys can't access if the other two guys can't access the chutzner because we're not sharing it, it's not just one. So your property, the property belongs to the other two. So we don't share the chutzner. No, that to me would have been more of a basic, simple idea. That it's got to be one. And if it's now disjointed because this guy's use was only given to two people, well then, if my inability used the chutzner, that his part of the chutzner, his chelik of the chutzner blocks everything. But it seems like it's a deeper lumdus. I'm not sure what this deeper lumdus is. I guess we have to get to Dafayin for that. Okay, listen, I don't know if anybody else has any clarification that can help us. But okay, what?
Not 100% clarification, but it seems that there's a difference between. I mean, I might be repeating what we've already said. There seems to be a difference between what happened before Shabbos and then after Shabbos starts. So before Shabbos, the person who's if you're one of five and you're mevatel your chelik to all the other five, so that you can do before Shabbos, and that's your eruv. But then if you acquire another part of the chutzner, which is the person who was said, I don't want any part in it, but he only gave it to one person, that part you cannot join into the eruv again. Because other people, that part you personally cannot join into the eruv. So everyone has to get that part.
Okay. Okay, so
that's like the...
Okay, but it sounds like what you're really saying is sort of...
it's probably very similar.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day...
But there isn't really like, well, why not?
Yeah, okay. I mean, basically what you're saying is really what I wanted Rashi to say, in a sense he's really saying, but Rashi's addressing a different point. The point that you just made is, if I get it on Shabbos, I can't redistribute it. So if it's all avatal to all of us, there's no need to redistribute. The pshat is... My domain rolls into your domain. I'm avatal my rishus to the four of you, and it's all fine. But if I'm avatal rishus to only two of you, well then the other two are now blocked, and that blockage affects the two who did get the property. The only thing that could be done is for those two to share the property with the other two, but they can't do that because that requires a overt act, which is too late to be done on Shabbos. Okay, so maybe it's sort of all coming together.
ArtScroll says that he says that's Rashi.
No, I'm right. It is right. Because basically what Rashi knows, I kept wondering, why does Rashi have to get so complicated? Teretz is Rashi's point is to say, why is it that on Shabbos I can't share my property with that? No, that can't be done anymore. This guy who failed to join in the Eruv, when he's avatar rishus to only two, that's not enough. But then I guess Rashi's really, so that part is pashut. I guess Rashi doesn't really focus on, he's more focused on why can't these two redistribute what they just received from this guy to the other two. And that's the part that Rashi, I think, is pointing out, that on Shabbos it's too late to do that. Just like the guy who died in the Shuk, that if he died before Shabbos, well then you can do what you need to do and make the kinyonim, before Shabbos that you need to make. But if it happened on Shabbos already, the only thing that will work is bittul, and that bittul has to come from the original guy. But these two new guys can't then somehow merge the other two into the property on Shabbos. For that, it's too late. So Rashi really was more referring to the second step as opposed to the first step. The first step is taka pashut. All four guys have to share in this chutzner. That part. That's why I thought, why isn't Rashi focused on that? There's Rashi sort of, that's taken for granted. That they all have to be part of it. But let's So let's get them involved on Shabbos. It's too late for that. You can't get these other two guys involved on Shabbos because that requires too much of a sort of a Kenyan type of thing, which on Shabbos can't be done. Okay, that's fine. Very good. So, so that was the original way it went down. And we're saying that Rav Shesh's point was to enlighten us to this distinction that you have to, according to Rabban, you have to vatal to each individual person. According to Rabbi Lezer, no, the guy's buying yafa. He's vatal to everybody, whatever you need. Everybody gets it. It's no problem. And even though he doesn't articulate it, it's all fine. So back to the Gemara. So he says, "Come on." So Rav Kana Masi Hachi, that's what we're up to. Rav Kana learned this sugya this way, the way we just learned it, the way it went down. Rav Tavyumi Masi Hachi, Rav Tavyumi learns a little bit differently. He learns the structure of the way the discussion went, a little bit of a different structure, not a basic difference api halacha, but just in the way when Rav Shesha said something, what was he focused upon. So it's where Rav Tavyomi learns like this: Kaman Azahad Tanya. Who does it go like? That which the Brisa says, Hey Shishwim b'chatzar echav v'shochach chachamihen, 5 guys in a chatzar and one of them forgot to join in the Erev, okay, that when he does, so this is a Brisa now saying it unequivocally that when he was vatal rishus, there's no need to vatal to each guy, but one bittul of a general nature gives it to everybody. Come on, who is that like? Rav Huna bar Yehuda, Rav Sheshes, come on, Rabbi Lezer. So this is where Rav Sheshes is, chimed in. He chimed in at this point and said that, which results in the same conclusion, and clearly from what Rav Sheshes is saying, according to Rabbanan, you would have to vatal it to each individual guy, but the way we would derive it at that point came about a little bit differently, where Rav Sheshes is going directly on the Brisa, saying this Brisa follows Rabbi Lezer, and indeed, that's essentially the same thing, only, like I said, a little different method of how we got there. So look at Rashi, who explains this. Rav Kana Masi Hachi. Lahik shetim tzaleim Rav Sheshes Amasisan. Okay, it was this Tim Tzaleima was really going on the Brisa. Rechav Rav Huna, who the Targamu, and it was Rechav and Rav Huna that explained the Lagmurei Minei Chamisha Sheirvu B'Chatzar, who the Asa. And that they were explaining that Rav Shesh's statement of Kshitim Tzaleima was really referring back to this Brisa where he explained this Brisa following only Rabbi Eliezer, and that was really what he meant in this Kshitim Tzaleima. This is a direct reference to the Brisa and the way he explains the Brisa. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Okay, that was Rav Kahana. So Rav Kahana learns this Tim Slaimar that Rav Sheshes went on the Mishnah, and now Rachav and Rav Huna derive from that this 5, the halach of the 5 people. In other words, right. That was the initial opinion. The initial opinion is Rav Sheshes made a statement based on the Mishnah, and now they said, well, if you analyze Rav Sheshes, you'll come to this conclusion about the 5 people in the chutzner. However, Rav Tavyomi Masid Rav Sheshes behedja Amra Allah, and according to Rav Tavyomi, that Rav Sheshes explicitly said that this Bryce that says the 5 people that one of them forgot, and he does not need to vatal to each 5. That follows Rabbi Eliezer's opinion and not Rabbanon's. Rabbi Eliezer next Rashi. Rabbi Eliezer the Omar Mavatal Ba'ayin Yof Mavatal. When the guy is Mavatal, he does it generously and with at least complications possible, and therefore it's more direct. So it boils down to the same thing, but in the first version it was more a derivation of what Rav Sheshes said on the Mishnah, and here it was a direct statement of Rav Sheshes on the Brisa, which really results in the exact same thing. Okay, so there's 2 different ways of getting to the same place. Let's go back to the Gemara now. Omalei.
When you're mevatel to all of them, when this person's mevatel to all 5, is the reason that it works because he's actually mevatel to an existing partnership?
I think so. I mean
rather than to an individual.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. I mean, let's say there are only two guys in the chutzner, and this guy, and he forgot to make an eruv, and now he wants vatal rishus to the other guy. I don't think that's a problem. I forgot.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying, but when there are five guys, right, and he's mevatel to only one of them, then that guy has the right to this guy's portion of the chutzner. But when he's mevatel to all of them, in reality, what he's done is he hasn't mevatel to each one individually. He's actually been mevatel to the partnership, and the partnership already exists. So there's nothing to transfer there. There's no additional transfer that needs to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's going back to the big Rashi. That's exactly.
That's what I'm wondering, if that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think so. That's the way I understood it. After you added your little shtickle there, that's the way I understood what Rashi's doing. I think it's too late to change. You can't do anything after the bittul. The bittul needs to make it smooth. And if you're only going to vantel it to one of the five or two of the five and leaving other guys out, then they have to bring them in, and that part cannot be done on Shabbos. That second step can't be done on Shabbos. It's got to end at the bittul. The bittul's got to make everything good. If it requires another transaction or another type of movement on the part of the owners of the property of the chutzner, then that's too late for that. I assume that's what you just said.
I'm saying what I'm taking it slightly further and saying that there's actually a partnership there, and he's mevatel not to the individuals, not to all the individuals, to each individual. He's actually mevatel to the partnership.
Where are you getting that from?
Yeah, why is that necessary?
So that there isn't another step is not necessary. So the bittul is to the partnership. That's it. It's done. The partnership already exists.
Yeah,
now
but
the partnership has something that it didn't have before, but that's okay.
But then how would we have these examples where he leaves one out?
And if he leaves one out, then you haven't been mevatel to the partnership.
Yeah, but then according to Rabbanon,
either to the partnership or you're to each one individually. According
to Rabbanon, you have to vatal to each guy.
Right, to each one, because that's the way to do it to the partnership.
I mean, I'm not sure. What do you? I mean, the results are the same. I don't know why you have to add that little lumdus.
Because if you mevatel to each one, right, then each one has it. Now, what happens to that eruv? But he didn't. It wasn't mevatel to the eruv. He was mevatel to the individual. Now the individual has to this part, and that wasn't, that's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe.
You still have to take another step.
Could be. Or it could be that when I'm vatal to each guy individually, then memela, since we are all now part of the chutzner and we share his property, then it's all good. Memela. I mean, okay, I hear what you want to do. I just don't know if you have to do it that way. But okay, definitely hear where you want to go. Okay, I guess when we get to Dafayin, we'll have to remember this, and I'm sure it'll resurface again. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so back to the Gemara. Omar, yeah, Omar Olei Rav Papa Abaye. So Rav Papa now wants to further illuminate this and talking, and says to Abaye, Rabbi Lezer Yom Aloy Mevatlinon. Okay, what happens if according to Rabbi Lezer you say I'm not mevatel? Or Rabbanon Yoma Mevatlino, or according to Rabbanon say I am mevatel, my. What's halach? No, it's kamba before the my. In other words, what would be if instead of, because the previous machlokis was in a case where it's stam, where he says I'm mevatel my rishus, and he doesn't articulate it to each one. So clearly the machlokis was according to Rabbanon it's ayin yafa, and it's all good, and according to the Rabbanon it's not ayin yafa, and you got to articulate that it's going to each and every one. So, but what happens if you did articulate it explicitly, saying either in Rebbe Lezer, I'm only mevatel to these guys, okay, Rebbe Lezer Yoma loy mevatlinon, okay, or Rabbanon, if he says I want to give it to all the guys, okay, this is on the house. This is not on the. This is the issue of the house being incorporated with the chutzner. Right, that we're going back to the original issue that we had. That can the other people?
But this isn't to who. This is what he's actually
exactly. Well, this is on the issue of do I give you the house or not give you the house? Let's say the guy either said befresh, I don't want to give you the house, or the guy's befresh saying I am going to give you the house as well. What's salach? My time at Reb Lozer. What's the real reasoning of Reb Lozer? Is it mishum de kasav avat rishus chatzer rishus beiso bitel? Okay, that when a guy is mevatel the rishus of his chutzner, he's automatically is mevatel the rishus of his house as well. This guy's saying, I'm not doing it. In other words, is it just an assumption that he wants to do it, but when a guy says, I'm not doing it, well, then he's not doing it because he told you clear as day that that's not my intention. And therefore it would taka be a problem, and they wouldn't be able to carry any more from the house. Odilma, or is it because of a more fundamental, universal concept that a person will not live in his house without a chutzner? And therefore, once I've nullified my chutzner to you guys, I automatically nullify my house as well, because one without the other, this doesn't work. And therefore, lo maftilna, when he says, I'm not mevatli my house, lav kol kiminei. You don't have the ability to fly against the face of a conventional wisdom. The conventional wisdom is no one wants a house without a chutzner. So if I'm giving you the chutzner, I'm also giving you my house. Whether you like it, whether you're standing on your head and and screaming, it doesn't matter. Okay, afagav the omar dairana lav klum. Even though he says I want this to be my house and I'm not giving it up, it's nothing. Okay, lav klum kamar. He's not saying anything. Okay, so which one is it? And I have the same shail in Rabbanan. Rabbanan niyama mavtilna. Let's say the guy says, I do want to be generous and give you the house as well. Beferish in Rabbanan. What's halacha there? My time in Rabbanan. What's the reasoning for the Rabbanan? Mishum de kasavra vato rishus chatzero rishus beisalo bitel. Is it because when you nullify the rishus of your friend, you're not nullifying your house? It's just not understood to be explicit. In other words, so I can't make that assumption. Okay, you can't make the assumption, but in a situation where he's saying it beferish, that I want to give you my house, in that case, it'll work. Okay, look, v'hayom maftilna, and this guy's saying, yes, I'm going for it. Odilma, or perhaps, no, there's another logic at play. Tam rabbanim mishum deloy ovid inish misalik nafshe legamre mibayis. V'chotzer. Or one second. Is it odilma tam rabbanim mishum deloy ovid inish misalik nafshe legamre mibayis v'chotzer? Okay, it's not normal for a person who removes himself completely from his house and from his chutzner. And therefore, and become like some kind of a stranger or a guest. I need some place where I live on my own. I'm not that's independent. That's me. I'm not going to give everything away. And therefore, if that's the prevailing mentality that the Rabbanan assumed the standard person has, maybe this guy, even though he might be generous, we say, no, you don't mean it. Because you can't be going against the prevailing, winds of all of society that would never give away both the house and the chutzner. And therefore, even if you want to, I say, it's like butler daite etzakodam. Your das is nullified to the prevailing das of everybody else. So which one is it? Is it some prevailing attitude that's at play here, or just the issue of I didn't hear from you, so it's whether I want to be generous or not be generous? So which one is it? And it's a shayla both people. So Amalei, to which he answered, we don't have to get so fancy here. Bein l'Rabbana, bein l'Rebbe Lezer, kivin the goli, daite goli. If you revealed your das, it works. It's not about some universal idea that controls your mind in a sense. And even though you want to go against the grain, you can't. We're not saying that. You can go against the grain because it's only about an attitude of generosity versus not generosity, in which case, in the case where he wants to be stingy in Rebbe Lezer, he can be stingy. In the case where he wants to be generous in Rabbanan, he can be generous. Okay, that takes care of that. Let's do the Rashi. Rebbe Lezer, the Omar Mistama Bita Rishus Beiso, Rebbe Lezer says that Mistama, he does nullify the Rishus of his house. Imama Behed Yeloi Batilna, he says explicitly, I'm not doing that. Lo Batilna Rishus Beisi, Miyave Beisa Mutter, Lehen Oiloi. Is his house mutter or not? On the other, conversely, Rabban who says he typically does not nullify his house, and that's why they couldn't carry from his house to the chutzner. If he says explicitly, I do want to mevatel it, l'chu to all you guys, afrishus beisi maftil. So does ilo. Do we say that that's what he says, then even the rishus of his house becomes batul, or do you say no, that he can't do that because he's going too much against the prevailing mindset? So beisoy beloy chotzer. What's that mindset when it comes to let's see, basically beloy chotzer was which one? He says basically even the asar atzma bechatzero. Okay, shabita lehem. Since he already answered himself on the chotzer that he was a vatal. Okay, he won't do it without the house as well. Basically, he's not going to leave out the house. So, in other words, it's always going to happen, right? That was in Rabbi Lezer. Right? What's the right? The mishum tanur mishum the bayis bo chotzol avidi inish to daire. No one will live. And once I already asked myself to the chotzer that was vatal, I'm going to be vatal my house as well. I'm not going to live in a house without a chotzer. And therefore, if he does say beferish, I don't want to give you the house, lav kol kaminei. You can't do that. You're going too far against the grain. To keep the lesser chotzer, since you already gave away the house, this is again in Rabbi Eliezer, since you already gave away the chotzer, dira bias love klumi l'didei. There's no longer any value to my house. My house becomes, again, obviously in those days, the chotzer was a main place of activity, and if you nullify that, you're nullifying your house as well, and they have the house also to carry it. Okay, that's in the world of Rabbi Eliezer. V'haikama maftilna, but l'daita etzel kol adam v'bitel el chotzer. Okay, this is on the other side of this is in Rabbi in the Rabbanon, that maybe we say that there's just no way that a guy gives up everything. Okay, and even though he seems like he wants to, his das is nullified to everybody else's das. At the end of the day, according in the Rabbanon's world, the potential assumption, possibly, is that even if he said, "I want to give you the bias," it's just not going to work because people don't give away everything. They leave something a little bit for themselves to, I don't want to be a complete stranger in my own home, so I'm not nullifying my house to you as well. So, bottom line is, which one is it? And the answer is, Kivan de Goli, Daite Goli, it's whatever you revealed. So, bottom line is, there is no overriding, prevailing mentality going on here. It's just a question of generosity, and if he wants to be generous, if he wants to be stingy, he can do that. Okay, that's the answer to the Shaila. Okay, so right before, back to the Gemara, and the last thing that he heard from Rabbi Eliezer was his halacha about the moror on Pesach. Okay, so my arkablin, what is this arkablin business? What kind of additional moror are you referring to? That is good, because we know there are different types of morors. There's not only one moror, there are a number of different morors you can have. So what's this arkablin? Amar shlokish atzafsa Charuzyaisa, tzavsa charuzyaisa. Okay, so it's some kind of a vine intertwined around the date tree that apparently has a bitter flavor. And look at Rashi, tzavsa charzaisa, siv ava hagadol, some kind of a thick vine that grows around the date tree, and it keeps wrapping around and going upwards like the palm fronds and like the palm branches. It's a lot of things bundled together. It's a lot of these vines or branches or whatever you want to call them bundled together. Like we had that charuzah shaldagim and b'mitziv tam morboy. So it's like bundled together. It's like a thing that's rolled up, and it has a taste of maror, and because of that, Rabbi Loza said it's okay. The only trouble is that he said I tried to find some counterparts who say they heard this as well, and I could not find anybody who heard these three halachas, so sort of he's left out a little bit in the cold. Okay, but that brings us to the end of the parak. Hadrolach oisim pasim, hadrolach oisim pasim, hadrolach oisim pasim. Okay, Givaldik. Now ready for the third parak. So b'chol ma'arvin. So now when you want to make an eruv, and this could be ruvei tchumin, Eruv v'chatzeros, Rashi says both. Eruv v'chatzeros ve'eruv v'tchumin. So b'chol ma'arvin u'mishtatvin, you can make or shtufim evos with all types of items. Chutz min hamayim u'min hamelach. Even though we always talk about a box of matzah or some challah, doesn't have to be challah or matzah. It could be really any item. You can put down an apple or a Kit Kat. Okay, chutz min hamayim u'min hamelach, except for water and for salt. Okay, those two things are not seen as things that really, nourish you, and therefore they're not allowed as an eruv. V'kol nikach mikesef meiser, and if you go up to Yerushalayim, and then you want to use your meiser sheni money on 4 out of the 6 years of the Shemitah cycle, and years 1, 2, 4, and 5, and now you want to buy stuff in Yerushalayim, you can buy anything you want with the money of Meiser Sheni, Chutz ben Hamayim and Hamelch, except for these two things. So if you want to go on a Nash binge when you get up to Yerushalayim, apparently you can. You're allowed to do that. You don't have to necessarily buy stuff that the produce of Eretz Yisrael is known by. It seems like you can get other stuff as well. Everything except for water and salt is going to be acceptable. And finally, hanodim in Amazon mutam melech umayim. If my guy makes a neder not to have any food that nurtures and nourishes you, that leaves you still salt and water. Salt and water is stuff that doesn't really have that nourishing component, and therefore you'd be mutter in those things. So while the neder would take effect on everything else under the sun in terms of food, it would not take effect when it comes to these two items. So it could also end up being, a savior in the sense that your neder doesn't block absolutely everything. Okay, let's take a look. Let's just read this, and then we'll probably pick it up. Let's just do the Rashi. The lav midi de mozon, they're not things that really give you nourishment. The time of the Erev mishum the daitei v'dirasa makam mizonosov, and the reason why Erev works is because his das and his abode is in the place of his food. Who v'kivan d'shnosu kol b'nei achotzer k'dei mizonim ba'is echad. Okay, and if you put enough food for everybody to be able to have some in one place, in one house, it's like we all live there. And we all become one. We all merge into one domain. And so too by Tchumen, when you want to extend your city limits to an area beyond the city limits to gain access to a further trip that you want to go even further. So when you put your mozon there, it's like you're lying there. And you have 2,000 amas from that new abode that you just acquired. In every direction from that place. You need something that's mazon because it's got to be significant. If it's not significant, then it doesn't have that quality to be able to acquire that place for you and make it the place that we all share. Because of Meiser, b'toich Yerushalayim, shimotzio l'tzorach machole. When you take the money and you take it up to Yerushalayim and you buy whatever you need for your food, so you have that broad aspect of whatever your soul desires. So that includes everything, but it cannot include salt and water. Okay, it's actually more specific about a fruit from a fruit, so we're going to get to that. And the last thing was in terms of the neder. There too, it does not include the neder of things that nourish. The word mazon. Okay, if you made a neder that you prohibit all things that nourish you, that would not include a mayim and melach. Okay, one more ma'avin l'naz just b'yayin. Well, Yisrael b'truma. One last halacha that you're allowed to make an eruv for a nazir with wine, even though he does not have access, and the Yisrael b'truma, even though Yisrael can't eat truma. Okay, why? Eruv tchumin. If you want to make an eruv tchumin and you want to acquire your abode out further out, you can do it for nabiyayim. V'yavagav the lo chazila didei. Rashi says, even though it's not fit for him, chazila achrina. I can give the wine to somebody else. V'kivin the mezainuhu gabe achrina shel rabbanon. say once it's mutter for somebody else, so I can share with. That's good enough. The Rabbanu were not machmir. You have to be able to eat it. It just has to be able to be eaten. L'Yisrael b'truma, the Chazil Kohen, and Yisrael also can make the me'erev with truma because it's fitting to a Kohen. So as long as it's fitting for somebody, it works. Okay, shkay.